Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to share with you a presentation I've put together called How to Develop a Positive Mind. So I've assembled some strategies and some tactics that really work for me, and I put them into a PowerPoint because I hope this will help you to follow along and absorb the ideas better. So grab a cup of coffee or tea, grab your notebook or tablet, and follow along with me. Let's commune on these ideas. And if you want to get a copy of this PowerPoint, just drop me a comment down below and let's chat, and I'll make sure I can send you a copy. No problem. All right, so to begin, recall this famous saying, we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. In other words, our mental state shapes how we perceive reality. If I'm in a really messed up emotional state, I'm not going to see you clearly. You're probably going to become a target of my anger or my anxieties, and I'm going to be lashing out at you. When really that shows more about my mental state than it does yours. So it's very important to create or generate a positive mind every day. That helps us to see clearly and to know what to do in our different situations that pop up. And I believe that putting ourselves into a positive mind state puts us in the closest accord with actual objective reality that we ever can be. That gets us the closest to the way that the universe actually operates. The universe actually operates in terms of abundance and positivity and creation. So when you put yourself into a positive mindset, even though it might feel a little bit fake, a little bit like you're putting it on or you're being too idealistic. No, I don't think that's actually true. I think you're actually trying to put yourself into alignment with how the universe operates and universal laws. So what are some of the characteristics or attitudes of a negative mind compared to a positive mind? Let's be really clear about that. The negative mind complains, makes excuses, is ungrateful, cannot process pain and stress, poisons other people's lives, expects bad things will happen in the future, thinks the world is against it and everybody is against it. So the negative mind is in a very dark place, and it grows accustomed to being in that dark place with all of its contrivances, its escapes, its sort of reactive defenses, and so on. The positive mind, by contrast, is happy, optimistic, sees opportunity everywhere. It's always growing through learning and curiosity. It's complimentary, encouraging, focused on solutions, not problems, thinks the world is mostly good and supporting it. So the positive mind is orderly, it's healthy, it's relaxed, it's energetic, the energy is flowing well through the brain. Okay, that's the positive mind. Obviously, that's what we want. So quite rightly, people do not want to have a negative mind because it's uncomfortable and it impairs their life. They know that. But two important things here. Number one, it may be impossible to get rid of negativity totally. And I don't know if we would even really want to, because if we get rid of the negative, how do we know what's positive? These two forces have existed in our universe since time immemorial. So, but what we can do is learn how to interact with it effectively and change it into positivity. And that's the magic. That's the alchemy. That's the way of a true leader and a true teacher. They're someone who knows that the negativity, when viewed correctly and operated upon correctly, is what we transform into the greatest positivity that we could ever hope to have. So negativity is something that we learn how to use correctly and appropriately. And then number two, a positive mind requires the regular input of effort. It will not come to you for free. Maybe it comes to you for free in fleeting moments when you're getting something that you want. But truly meaningful, sustainable positivity requires effort. You know, when we're younger, a lot of our happiness comes easily and for free. It comes very naturally because we don't have any responsibilities. People are taking care of us. We just get to have a lot of fun, generally speaking. But the older and older that you get, the more and more you realize you have to take an interest in your mind, take an interest in your life and work on it, develop it, improve it, and don't take it for granted because you're going to be encountering more and more responsibilities, more and more burdens, more and more tragedies, the sort of the knocks of life. So if you haven't been fortifying yourself regularly, that stuff's going to destroy you. It's going to tear you apart. So let's get into some actual practices and tactics, 10 practices to develop your positive mind. Number one, avoid eating or consuming negative content. I view negative content now just like snacking on junk food. It's really unhealthy for your mind. It's going to make you scatterbrained, distracted, unhappy. You're always going to be comparing yourself to other people. So avoid excessively emotional, violent, sexual, political, tragic content and carefully select what type of content that you want to consume. I would just pick just a small handful of people or channels who you really like that really align with the type of life that you want and only watch them. Don't watch things randomly recommended to you in your feed. Number two, overcome negative thinking with positive action. Sometimes you can't solve a problem with the same tool that created it. Rather than trying to think your way out of anxiety, depression, stress, anger, go do something, go take an action which is positive to help break yourself out of that. The most common and easy one I can think of is to go exercise. But if that's not really your thing at this point in your journey, I mean, I hope it is, but at least go outside, go for a walk in nature, get some fresh air, try to get out of your head, and then you'll see things differently. Number three, build your positive campfire every morning. So somewhere along the way, I found this metaphor, this analogy of a campfire that I really like for building a positive mind. It comes back to that notion I described earlier of not taking a positive mind for granted. Building a positive mind is like building a campfire in the cold wilderness. Every day you have to do the work to make it, and after you've made it, it can keep you and other people warm, safe, and inspired. So think about it that way, putting in some effort daily. This kind of describes like having a good morning routine. It's like building that campfire. And then you're fortified, you're ready to go out into the world and change it for the better and not be affected by the negativity of it. That fire, that glow that you have will drive away the evil and dangerous forces that are surrounding you in this wilderness, in this forest. Number four, use affirmations, which is positive self-talk. Let me put my video down there. So this means to speak in your mind and also speak aloud from your mouth who you are, what you want, and what you plan to do. Just imagine like a boxer before a fight. He's saying, I'm going to kill that guy. I'm going to kill that guy. Okay, that sounds negative. Maybe that's not the best example, but I'm going to win. I'm going to win. There's no way I can lose. Like they're saying it, they're thinking it, they're believing it. They're playing audio recordings, their favorite music or their favorite motivational speakers. They're blasting it and they're just like flooding themselves with this positive self-talk. They're reprogramming their mind. So use affirmations. You can set phone alarms with audio recordings that wake you up properly or remind you properly throughout your day. Similarly, point number five is about visualization. That's less about speaking and words. It's more about visualizing what you want to happen, what you want to, who you want to become. That again is just like, think about high performers, people performing like a piano concerto, or again, the analogy that jumps out at me is like a sports star, an athlete. They're visualizing the win, they're visualizing how they want to perform. And that's something that I often do before I get on camera, before I get on the coaching call, before I go to teach a class. I do it pretty naturally now. I imagine myself doing it. I think about what I would say. I try to feel the feelings that will come. And that's kind of like practicing in advance. So that's going to help the real moment go better. Number six, use a journal or a diary. Remember that saying, the unexamined life is not worth living. If you don't think your life is worth writing about, reflecting about, analyzing, then you're not in a good place right now. You need to care about your life. You need to reflect on your life in a journal. If you don't write anything down, it's hard to understand and analyze what's going on and make an action plan for improvement because your thinking in your head is kind of abstract and amorphous. It's hard to get a handle on it. Once you start to put things down into writing, it starts to become clear and organized, and you can actually start to see what the problem is, rather than those thoughts you have in sort of the muddy waters of your mind just disappearing into the recesses and you can't grab onto it. Journaling is an effective and time-tested way. All great leaders throughout time have relied on it. So why do you think it's not going to work for you? Why do you think you don't have to do that? I'm not saying you have to do it every day, but maybe to start, you just want to do it when you're experiencing a difficult emotional event. Start when you're having problems. Brainstorm that night, journal that night. Once you get into the habit of it, you may want to do it more and more as a preventative measure, as a fortifying measure. Number 7, develop core values or principles that can defeat your negative mind. Sometimes I think we can't handle or manage negative thoughts or situations because we don't have a clearly stated value or principle that can take down or blast through that negative thought or situation. So I would say if you're experiencing or encountering the same type of negative thought or situation again and again, then develop a core principle, attitude, a set of action steps that matches to that negative thought or negative situation and will get you through that so that when you encounter that situation again or that type of thinking again, you can remember to run that code, run that core principle. You need to remember to pull that out. And there's been times where I couldn't remember my plan or my proper thought process, but I remembered I have it in a journal, and I would grab the journal and flip to that page. So I would have a series of codes or operating procedures or plans to handle different types of emotions, people, situations that were bothering me, and how I wanted to handle it better the next time it came up. Number 8, have set times when you check your phone. I think one of the biggest problems nowadays, and people just really underestimate it, I think, is that our phones are really destroying our mental peace and our mental happiness and clarity. We're always checking the phone. That's making us very frenetic in our mind, very crazy, impossible to think clearly and slow down and be intentional. So, as a simple step to start to deal with this, I would say don't check your phone 100 times per day. Don't check it whenever you want, anytime, all the time. Don't always keep it in your pocket. Choose a set time. Oh, speaking of the devil, my phone alarm is going off right now. Let me pause that. Um, Choose set times when you will check and respond to messages throughout the day. Maybe in the beginning, you allow yourself a lot of times to check. But as you work on this, you want to seek to reduce those times to the point where maybe you only check twice a day, maybe morning and night, and not close to your wake up or go to sleep times, something like that. So you kind of bookend your day, but you're not obsessed about it all day. Something like that might be good. You can also consider having a one day per week that you don't check the phone at all. Maybe Sunday could be a day for family, or maybe Saturday, something like that, and a cutoff time for the evenings. I put, for example, 11 p.m. because I think a lot of people stay up late and check their phone. I don't want to be too radical, but whatever time you typically go to sleep, let's try to cut off the phone an hour before that and then go from there. It's amazing to me how many people tend to keep the phone in their bed and check it until the moment where they finally fall asleep. And until that time, they're just absorbing crazy negative stuff that they see on TikTok or Twitter or Facebook or the news. So they're polluting their mind right before they go to sleep and start, dreaming, trying to have a good sleep. How's that going to work? Number 9, meditate or go for a nature walk. These are simple practices with profound results. Sometimes we need to create some peace and quiet. We need to create space in our lives so that we can calm down, reconnect with our breathing, and settle our minds. Imagine if you just set up a time every day where you're going to have a 10-minute walk, maybe after lunch. That could be a nice gap in your day that provides you that bit of space and peace to do a reset. So again, a lot of these suggestions, you can start small, see how they work for you, and then increase their seriousness or their time allotment over time. Okay, the last one, read Stoic philosophy. This is a philosophy I first encountered in university, which I absolutely love because it taught me that, okay, we can't control what happens to us in our life, but we have full control about how we feel about what happened, how we interpret what happened, and what we're going to do about what happened. So we can always we're always fully in control of the internal if we want to be. And that's really what matters the most. So I would recommend reading Stoic philosophy, maybe Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I would recommend there that you pick up like a modern translation or guide that gets away from some of the ancient styling of the language, which turns a lot of people off. So look for something that's more modern, maybe with some modern commentary that's broken down a little more simply. I could recommend The Emperor's Handbook, might be a good choice. The Emperor's Handbook. It is sort of a modern translation of meditations. Another good one would be The Art of Living by Epictetus. Actually, I think that was the very first book that I encountered in university, and I did really like that book. Meditations I had more difficulty with at the time until I realized that the modern translations were better for me with that one. So also check out The Art of Living. Okay, here's an example day. This would be like an day for me. I wake up early, I do some stretching or yoga in the sunlight. If you're more hardcore than that, maybe you want to go ahead and do your jog or do your exercise. Go for a walk, listen to your favorite music or an inspirational teacher that you follow. After that, come back, clean the table or the desk, make a hot cup of tea or coffee, review your plan for the day. Think about who you want to be when you go out into the world today. Think about the problems that you know will probably come and how you're going to respond to them. This could be a good time to read your positive vision statement about who you want to become. This could be a good time to review your goals for the week or for the quarter. And then, before or after dinner, exercise. That's when I usually exercise, is before dinner. I like to exercise usually in the afternoons. I found to work best for me before dinner. And then I have a great appetite for dinner. I feel like I'm set up for the evening. I got a second wind for my evening. In the evening, there's some more time there for quiet study, reading, checking off your habits if you do habit tracking, kind of reflecting on, did you hit your targets for the day? And then I think the evenings is a great time to connect with family and friends, go for a walk, do some relaxing phone calls, because that really relieves a lot of stress to commune with people, especially in this age today where everyone's so distracted and isolated. They're always on their devices, they're always online, they're not connecting with people in real life. And then last, before bed, don't look at the phone so much. Instead, connect to something positive. Read a good book, listen to a great podcast or teacher, some relaxing, maybe some like great classical or jazz music. Again, this could be a good time to reconnect with your loved ones and just settle down and just talk. No more devices. Reflect on your day, talk about your day. Okay? So this sort of puts it all together for you. Now, that's the end of my little presentation here. I hope this helps. Let me know in the comment section down below which tip, which advice resonated with you the most. Let's get into a conversation. I really want to help you develop your positive mind because I know that once you have understood how to create or bring about a positive mind every single day, then you can achieve anything you want in any area of life at a high level. That's it for this video. I'll see you back here next time. Bye bye for now.